Hey FlossTube, welcome back. This is my 83rd FlossTube video, and I'm excited to share with you what I've been working on the past couple of weeks. But first of all, I want to welcome you. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope that you enjoy the things that I have to share with you. And if you are returning, welcome, and thank you for continuing to watch my videos. I really appreciate it. It's been a pretty good couple of weeks. Of course, our lives have been disrupted by the coronavirus, just like all of yours have. I think I've mentioned in previous videos that my daughter was going to be serving a mission in Argentina, and that she had and that she was in Mexico City training and preparing for going to Argentina. Well, last week, we found out that the facility where she was being closed. Argentina is currently locked down. It's not possible to fly into Argentina. And because of that, she came home. So she is back home with us. She arrived here Sunday afternoon, and we are adjusting to having her back around. We're basically in quarantine for a couple of weeks while she self-isolates, and so we haven't really left the house for anything. We anticipate that she will be reassigned to a different place to serve somewhere in the United States. But I think things are in just a great big amount of flux right now, and we don't really know what's going to happen. She is still planning on serving a mission, but we are waiting for the details, and I don't know that we'll know anything for another week or so. As I mentioned, we haven't left the house. That hasn't meant that I'm not working. Work is still going on. Basically, we are all working from home. Arizona is not completely locked down. The state hasn't shut down all businesses, but as a precaution, there are a lot of people who have decided to work from home. So I am adjusting to working from home. I have set up shop in my son's room. My son's in Utah, and so I'm in his room. I've set up in there, and so going to work in the morning means saying goodbye to my wife and going upstairs to be in my son's room for the rest of the day. Work is still going good. I can do what I do at work here at home. It's a little bit harder because you don't have the ease of collaboration with your colleagues here at home. I don't have that I have at work, and so we have to figure out ways to deal with that. But things are going well, and I have no complaints there. So that's kind of a summary of what's going on with our lives, and a summary of what's going on. Things are very beautiful. It is starting to warm up more here in Arizona. We anticipate temperatures in the 80s this week, and this morning I mowed my yard, and it felt absolutely wonderful outside. So it feels like things are going to actually start warming up, and we're going to start getting into a little bit more of what we expect. March has been a little bit on the cool side. I expected it to be a little bit warmer than it has been. So let's talk a little bit about what I have been working on. First of all, I'm going to share with you some graphs to kind of show you what's been going on. I mentioned last time that I was going to be working exclusively on The Lord is My Shepherd, and I have continued to do that. That is all I've been working on for the past couple of weeks, and I'll show you what it looks like in a little bit. But first of all, I'll show you this graph. This is a Pareto that shows how many days I have worked on each project that I've worked on this year. And you'll see The Lord is My Shepherd is kind of starting to dominate things here. That's because I've worked on it for 3 weeks, and I am planning on continuing to work on it. I am pushing towards a finish, and we'll talk about that. just to show you how things have been progressing on that, here's a graph that shows basically it shows my progression as it's a percentage of how much I have done. So the line is the day that I stitch on that, how much of a percentage of how much is finished. And you'll see that I have hit the 50% mark. I stitched a lot of words last night, and so I was able to cover a lot more area of the chart. So you're seeing at the far right end of the chart, you see a great kind of a spike, and that might continue. There's parts of the design that are text and parts that are pictures, and when I hit the picture part, I slow down because there's a lot more stitches in those areas. So you can kind of see how my progress has gone over the last 3 weeks. And finally, this is a chart that shows my prediction of when I am going to finish this. The bottom 2 lines are basically calculated using the average of the number of days I stitch and a trend, which is kind of like a rolling average that kind of shows that. The top line is if I were to stitch 1 block a day, when I would finish that. And as you can see, I have been stitching a lot more than 1 block a day because the top line is descending rapidly down towards where the bottom 2 lines are. And eventually they will meet when I hit a finish. Maybe I'll show you that when I finish the design. So that is what I've been doing. And I'll show you what I've been able to accomplish in just a sec. I also wanted to share with you one other thing. I've had over the past few weeks, every once in a while, somebody asks me about the stand I use, and I use a PVC stand that I made out of pipe, and it sits on my kitchen table. And I sit my frame that I use an Omnic quantum frame. And I thought I'd show you my stand because I've made an addition to it. So this is my stand. So you can see these legs here sit down on the table, and then I lay my frame here, and these hold the frame up. And you can see I've added this bracket. I found this on Amazon. It is something that Ginger Gerald reviewed about a year ago, and I finally decided to buy one, and I really like it. This holds my tablet. So before I put my tablet on the table underneath, and I kind of look down underneath the piece that I was working on to look at things, I decided to use this. So this is completely adjustable. And it holds my Kindle. I have a Kindle, but it would also hold an iPad because these arms adjust to whatever width you need to hold your tablet. And then it is also right here, this bracket attaches to whatever you want to attach it to. And then you can move this across around several axes. It rotates this way. And you can also rotate it this way, or you can also rotate it this way. So it rotates in 3 different axes. So you can adjust it to hold whatever piece you want to. If you want to find one of these, you can find it on Amazon. The brand name is Neewer, Neewer. And it's called an adjustable tablet holder. And if you search for that on Amazon, it should come up. It has been really, really nice, and I really like having my tablet up here where I can see the chart rather than having to look underneath all the time. So that works really good. I really like this stand. It is adjustable. I can tilt this tray to whatever angle I want. The legs detach, so you can use that as well. I have a video where I talk about the dimensions of all of these if you ever decide to want to try to make one. It is really inexpensive to make. PVC pipe doesn't cost very much. And all you need to know, and it's really easy too, all you need to know is how to glue fittings together. And I'll put a link to the video where I talk about how I built this, so that you can do it. So there's the stand that I use. Okay. So let's talk about what I've been stitching, and I've referred to this a couple of times. I've been stitching this. This is called "The Lord is My Shepherd." It is a design by Yvette Ungricht. She is a designer from Salt Lake. I have had a lot of interest in where to get this chart on Instagram. Every time I post, somebody says, "Where can I get this?" So it is available on her website, YvetteUngrichtCrossstitch.com, I believe is what it is. I'll post a link to her site in my video if you want to check it out. Basically what it is it's a band sampler that has the text of the 23rd Psalm running through it. And it has different bands of pictures, and also some specialty stitches. So this is what I've been working on. I have really enjoyed working on this. I'm still not tired of it. Especially now that I've finished the forest scene, I'm especially not tired of it. I was starting to feeling like I wasn't making much progress, but now that I've finished that, it feels really good. I am stitching this on 32 count Antique White Lugana, and I am stitching with the called for colors, which is basically DMC. And somebody asked me to be more explicit with how many strands I'm using. So I am stitching with 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. So I post a picture of what it looked like the last time you saw it. And as I mentioned, I have really enjoyed this. This has been kind of different from what I usually stitch, and it has been a nice and welcome change. It is a fairly quick stitch for me, and so that it's not really complicated. So it's a quick stitch, and it has been really enjoyable. I've enjoyed working the specialty stitches too so far. So and some of these are things that I've never done before. So it's kind of a new experience, and I think it's a good way to get my feet wet with specialty stitches, as I'm working with a couple of other designs that also have specialty stitches. So this is what it looks like now. So as you can see, the last time I stitched this, the last time I showed this, I think I only had these 2 trees stitched. So I have stitched this entire forest scene with the pond. I've stitched a lot more of the verse, and then this band. So I'll give you a little bit closer look so that you can see what it looks like. So we have, of course, this shepherd with his sheep. There's satin stitches in here in addition to cross stitch and back stitch. This is just a regular cross stitch scene with some lambs. And then down here, this top row of stitches is rice stitch. This blue is called pattern darning. And then these are road stitches. And then last night I stitched 4 more lines of the psalm. So yeah, this pattern darning, this is just basically doing a running stitch and changing where you go underneath the fabric to make a pattern. I'll give you a little bit of heads up. If I've had lots of people say they want to stitch this, just a heads up, there are errors in this chart, so you have to be careful, and I wasn't careful. If you watch my progress pictures that I post at the end, you'll see one place where I finished this at one time and it didn't look very good, and I followed the pattern, and at the time when I did it I thought, oh, she's just making adjustments over here to fit this into the space that that she needed to fit it in. But I decided that it didn't look really good because these repeats were not matching everything else. So I decided, oh, I'm gonna take that out and I'm gonna do it so that it's consistent all the way across. And then I looked at the picture and realized that she had done the same thing. So there is an error in the chart on this section of the pattern darning. And you can see, now that I fixed it, it looks a lot better. I really like it. Rose stitches are really fun to stitch. Rice stitches, I really like rice stitches. And I really like how they look. They're giving it a nice little bit of texture, especially since this is all flat, and these stitches have a little bit more texture to them, so it's a nice contrast that way. So this is 3 weeks worth of work. Halfway mark is here, so I'm more than halfway through. I anticipate a lot of what is left is text with a couple more bands. So I think that I don't know that I will finish it this week, but I think I will be very close to having it finished by the end of next week. I'll give you another look. I really like the colors in this. I'm generally not a fan of orange and yellow, but they are just so bright and so cheerful in this design that they're just perfect, I think. So there it is. The Lord is My Shepherd by Yvette Ungricht. So that's what I've been working on. That's what I'm going to continue working on. 2 weeks ago, I said, I'm going to work on this until I finish it or until Easter. I am pretty confident that I'm going to be able to finish it by Easter. And I really feel it's really calling to me and really wants me to stitch it. So I'm going to continue working on it. I'm really determined to finish that. So that's what I'm going to be working on this week. Of course, you can always follow my progress on Instagram. I am at blitstitch on Instagram. And you can follow my progress there. Also, as always, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to like this video. That is a great help. And I always love hearing from you and would be glad to answer any questions that you have if you will just comment down below. Thank you so much. I hope that everybody stays safe and that all is well with you, and that you have a great week this week. And we will talk to you later. Goodbye.